Hey, thank you for clicking this video. Just a friendly reminder, this is a clip from my previous live stream. And if you want to catch me live in action so you can join the conversation, just remember I live stream Sunday through Friday. That's 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And I'm going to post the time right here because I know some people don't want to Google. So nevertheless, go ahead and enjoy this video. We are back talking about Jubilee. And yes, I know everyone is sick of Jubilee and the whole surrounded thing, because honestly, no constructive conversation with any substance normally never happens. Like, it might be like one, maybe two, but for the most part, it's just whoever is surrounded, the people on the outside of the chairs, they just have talking points. They just have what they want to say. There are other content creators. They're just trying to make a name for themselves. So they're not there to have a good faith conversation, which I need. I will go crazy talking to 20 people with all talking points. Don't put me in that situation. But it is good for the viewer to engage with the conversation that's being had. Like what we're going to be doing now, what I've been doing is taking what they're talking about and trying to, stress test it, look at the data, look at the facts, and have a conversation based off their lack of conversation. That's what we do best. So I watched this about twice. Hey, I almost died. Okay, like it did something to my brain. Next thing you know, I'm just looking out of a window, wondering why my life is in this state currently. But a few things that I taken from this debate here is, one, the lack of civics and constitutional protections that people seem to not either understand or don't care. Or they don't care that they don't understand. Like, when you're talking about politics and government and civics, it would be good to know about that. Right? I mean, I sound weird trying to explain this to grown adults. Like, you need to know about civics if you're going to talk about civics things. You're going to find that in this video. That is out the window. 2, separation of constitutional rights and religious beliefs. These are 20 conservatives. So what that means is 20 off the wall, deranged Christians. Now, I'm a Christian myself, so I know this is not what it does to you, because I'm nowhere near that, but they choose to be indoctrinated in such a way they don't care about nobody else. They just care about their beliefs and forcing it onto other people. And we're going to witness that. Like, why? That's not a cute look. And then the lack of humanity and value of life. It is crazy that the Republican Party is the party of Christians and pro-life, but they don't care about the living in any manner. They do not care. And they're like so proud of it. And then in the same breath be like, but I love my Lord Jesus Christ, and I'm pro-choice. And it's like, but you just said that you don't care if people are getting slammed into the ground, kicked in their face, and treated like less than humans. What are we talking about here? But let's say less. Let me pull up my video here, and let's get into it.
Do you understand that they don't come over?
Hey, yes, we get it. Now, once again, the black bars is for copyright purposes. I ain't trying to give my little YouTube money to Jubilee. So the black lines is for copyright purposes. So don't be in the comments asking why they're black lines. Let's see. gun deaths. Okay. And once again, this is an hour and 40 minutes. We're not going to go through the whole video, but there's 3 interesting conversations that I think needs to be highlighted. So let's go ahead and get into our first one at 4:20. Now, the topic is, let's see. That is so hard to see. ICE has become a fascist institution and it should be abolished from, I can't really see the rest of that. But yeah, talking about ICE and how it's unconstitutional. Let's get into it.
Folks that look like you and asking for their papers is wrong. Here's an...
Let's see. That's not the beginning of it. Give me one. Okay, here it is. In my notes, it was incorrect. It is this young lady here, and God bless her heart.
They're doing over and over again. There are plenty of times. How many people? Let's go back to George Redis.
How many people have been deported?
You've been eliminated. Okay.
I'd love to go back to George Redis. Rolling now.
Hi.
Hey girl, what's up? I'm Tim.
I'm Noelle.
Nice to meet you.
So I wanted to ask you, could you define fascism for me? How would you define it?
Yeah, sure. It is a government that cares more about the power that they have than individual rights, right? It's basically subverting individual rights in service to the state. There's a great book by a guy named Umberto Eco called Fascism, where he kind of lists out the 14 elements of fascism, but that's the short of it.
Now, I wish he would have, and once again, you know, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have notes and just memorize everything. So I like his answer, but I need people to understand fascism isn't just there. You're just not like a fascist. It's check boxes you need to check off that scholars have put together. I'm not making this up. Scholars put this together just like anything else. And if you check a lot of these boxes, now you are entering into fascist territory. Just because someone says something is a fascist or fascism doesn't mean that it is until they check all these boxes. And if you look this up, go ahead and Google it. It's all a part of consolidating power to one person and silencing everybody else by military might or your government strength and silencing people. Go ahead, look this up. So, you know, I do like his answer, but if you don't really understand what it is, like she doesn't, then you start going into La La Land at that point.
Okay.
Individual rights don't matter.
Okay. And then also in your world, how would you like to see immigration, I guess, how would you like to see immigration policies be applied then?
Well, sure. I guess for starters, I'd like them to do what they said, which was go after the criminals first. And I think that, again, we have agencies to do that. We have the DEA, we have FBI, we have Border Patrol. I would like to start with that. I think that we should give a pathway to citizenship. Obviously, people that were brought here as kids, I think it's insane to suggest otherwise. I think people that have been here for a long time, that have bbeen following the rules, paying their taxes, learning English, should get a pathway to citizenship. And then I think that the other folks that are more in the gray area, I forget it was the first guy who came up and said, knock on the door and say, hey, Mr. Illegal, could you get out? That seems like what to do, kind of, in a free, fair country. Like, go up to the door, knock on the door, and say, hey, Mr. Lopez, sorry, you didn't meet these metrics. You have 4 months to get back to your home country. And then if they continue to break the law, or you can appeal this, you can go to asylum. If they continue to break the law, then sure, then you can send in law enforcement. And again, we have CBP and a bunch of other enforcement agencies that could do that. That's just a humane way to deal with this that I think probably has 80% support.
Yeah, and I think sensible conservatives would actually agree with a lot of what you said of a pathway to citizenship. I guess
I don't think some of your pals would. Do we have any pathway to citizenship fans
I think that's, I would say that a pathway.
And no one raised their hand. That is lie number one. They are not sensible. She just tried to normalize her fellow compadres in that room. Like, you know, conservatives, we, you know, understand a pathway to citizenship, and none of them raised their hand. I wonder why. That's lie number one. Number two, they don't care if a Democrat does it correctly. Look at Obama. We just learned, before this live stream here, Obama, which was, he was labeled a deporter in chief. He deported on average a little over 300 immigrants or illegal immigrants a day. But the thing is, the reason why it's not as blown up like it is now, because he did it the correct way. They had their due process. And yes, we could talk about, children in cages, and that is great criticism. But that is not comparable to what Trump is doing now. So you missed me with the BS, but let's continue.
Your pals would? Do we have any pathway to citizenship fans in here?
I think I would say that a pathway to citizenship for those who are working here for a long time and for those who follow the legal process, because you can't cut in line, because that's not fair to other people who have been trying to. I have a lot of family as well who came and so if you cut in line, it kind of devalues everyone who took out maybe loans or borrowed money to try to get into the country legally.
But you can't get in the country legally now.
But still, there's
there
people
are no
who
legal pathways unless you're a white South African.
That's not necessarily. I have family. I have family. I'm Mexican. I have
during
family.
the Trump administration?
Not during the
They've
Trump.
changed the policies of OBLITERATES administration.
But what I'm saying
we're
is
going to have negative net migration.
So that just means that people just come in, that people just break the law.
No, we're going to have negative net migration.
Hey, Trump is deporting people who are actively through the legal channels, who are showing up to their court meetings and hearings. So what are we talking about here? Are we living in the same reality? It's not just as simple as, are they legal or are they not? There's a lot of in-between area, a lot of other statuses that Trump said, you know what? I don't care. We're sending everybody back. And that is the problem. That's why people are upset. He's not just going after the criminals. He's going after everybody who's even doing it the legal way. Ding, ding, ding. Wake the hell up. But okay, got you.
We're going to have negative net migration in this country this year. The only countries that have that are like Venezuela, Syria,
but I want to address,
countries,
if I can,
and the United States.
If I can I address your claim specifically on fascism?
Sure.
Because fascism historically has been going after people who politically disagree with you, and what we're seeing right now.
Oh yeah, they're doing that for sure.
What we're seeing right now, though, is I would say that everyone should be treated with human dignity, everyone, regardless of your immigration status. But that being said, I can still enforce a law and treat someone with human dignity.
Well, do you think Stephen Moore is treating people with human dignity?
I'm not saying that everything that ICE is doing is okay.
Just generally, do you think that they're treating people with human dignity?
My concern,
what about
specifically, I'd like to address
films?
the fascism claim that you made.
Yeah, sure.
Specifically the fascism, because we've seen, even for example, Charlie Kirk last month was shot and killed. And so what happens when we use inflammatory flames like fascist, it paints people a certain way.
Noel, but here's the thing. If they don't want to be called a fascist...
That's like me saying if you want lax border policies, then you're an anarchist. It's a false equivalency.
But the right
it doesn't
calls
add up.
Who's asking for lacks of immigration policy? Let me know in the chat right now, and be serious. Don't be trolling. Who wants open borders and lax immigration policy? I think the average... well-knowing individual, hopefully that's, my chat, is like, yes, we could use policies. We need policies that make sense. But no one is like, hey, let's just shut the whole thing down and let everybody come in. No. So if you call me an anarchist, which I met a few of them, I actually like anarchists than Republicans. So, that's a whole nother conversation, but that's not the conversation. So for you to call me that doesn't make any sense. But Trump is he's doing what fascists do. So what else am I supposed to call him? Come on.
Left,
someone can
communists and enemy within all the time.
Because you do this, then that
I'm just saying,
justifies it. That's not
look,
okay.
if they don't want to be called fascists, they shouldn't act like fascists. I just think that if this was not this country, if you saw unmarked cars with mass people hassling, look at the story of Narciso Barranco. He's gardening outside an IHOP. A bunch of masked agents come out. He's an old man. A bunch of masked agents come out, hassle him, tackle him to the ground.
But
he's got 3 kids who are in the Marines.
In a fascist.
Why would we do this? That's obviously fascist. How else would you describe it?
I'm not saying that's okay. What I'm saying is that in a fascist country, yes, I would say that's not treating someone with human dignity. And I believe that everyone is worthy of human dignity. But what I am saying is that in a fascist,
to a gulag in El Salvador.
Could I finish? In a fascist country, some political dissent is repressed. So all of the media is controlled by the government. And so we still.
Hey, that's what Trump wants. Why do you think all these lawsuits, these outrageous, most of them are thrown out type of lawsuits that he's trying to do? He's trying to intimidate. We already talked about Jimmy. It's obvious. It is not conspiracies. They are bragging about this. He is trying to consolidate the media. Not any journalist can now go to the White House and do what journalists do. You have to sign a contract, pinky promising not to express what they don't want you to express. That is not free press. Let's not talk about him weaponizing the military throughout U.S. Streets and cities, threatening to jail his political enemies, especially what just happened a few days ago with the Democrats telling military soldiers to not obey illegal orders. What is going on here? So if it walked like a fascist, if it talked like a fascist, if it looked like a fascist, guess what? I'm going to call you a fascist.
Even though there's polarizing rhetoric, we still have ways for people to express their opinion. We still have ways for people to appeal to civil systems, and they can still appeal for mistreatment by ICE agents. And so I think that's super important, because when we're calling people fascist blatantly, that's what fuels political violence. That's what causes people like Charlie Kirk to be killed, because we're calling people Nazis, we're calling people fascists. That would be wrong if I went around calling every Democrat a communist.
Well, I agree with you that we're not a fascist country yet. What the claim was is that ICE is becoming a fascist institution. And to that point, the one thing that you said in that sentence that is just not true is that victims of ICE cannot contest their claims. If they get deported back to Honduras, they don't have a legal pathway. They're a U.S. citizen. There were kids. There was a baby that had a disease, like a rare kidney disease. It was a 5-year-old that is a U.S. citizen, got deported with his mother back to Honduras. The mother wanted him to stay so he could get medicine. That 5-year-old doesn't have a legal remedy. They're stuck.
I would say that
the gay hairdresser, that we sent to a gulag in El Salvador, he doesn't have a legal remedy. They don't have legal remedies.
Are you referring to the prison system in El Salvador?
No, we sent like 200 Venezuelans to El Salvador, claimed that they were gang members, and one of them, I did an interview with him, Andre Hernandez Romero. He's a gay hairdresser. Unless he was doing the makeup for Trenda Aragua, he was not in a gang.
I don't agree with the way that
he doesn't have any redress.
I don't agree with the way that ICE is approaching the immigration system. I'm with you there. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with sending American citizens without due process. I'm with you. My concern.
No, it's not just American citizens. Anyone an American deserves due process. Let's not get it twisted. And that should make you upset. It should bother you that our government is not following rules while they stuff that down our throats that we need to follow rules. No one's above the law, right? So it's crazy that we're just like making excuses for our government to trample over other people's constitutional rights because it's not happening to you. Until it happens to you, then we're going to have a problem, right?
And specifically is using the rhetoric of fascist because it fuels political violence. That is my concern. It's okay to disagree, but I don't think that is an equivalency to Nazi Germany. I just don't.
I don't either. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Great talk. Once again, it feels like he could have went a little bit more into that. I don't want to blame because he's a liberal, but like I just feel like he could have done a little bit better with that conversation. Let's see. I think this is my next. I got my notes all mixed up here, but I think this is my next lady here.
How's it going?
Hi, Tim. My name is Hannah.
So I want to address the claim. First of all, I want to clarify. You are not in favor of abolishing or
maybe, I think it was the guy before. Let's see. Yeah. I think it's this. Okay.
Hey, man, what's up?
What's up, Tim, right?
Yeah, Tim.
Dylan, nice to meet you.
You packing?
No, I'm not packing right now.
Good.
We're in California.
Good. Better, you know, just
And just to let you guys know, the topic is it is not worth the cost of gun deaths every year to have the Second Amendment. And he said he brought this claim as a counterclaim to someone like Charlie Kirk, who said that, hey, gun deaths are needed and it is okay to maintain a Second Amendment. So Tim's counter argument is it is not worth the deaths or the amount of deaths to have a Second Amendment. That is the argument for this segment here.
making sure.
Okay, well, are annual car deaths worth keeping cars in society?
I'm glad you brought up the cars. With car deaths, obviously, you know, we're not going to go back to horses. People need cars to you know.
So they're
go
a
around
net
the country
positive
for
to
their job.
society, right?
I would say the cars are, but here's some other things
So
you have
aren't
with
guns a
cars.
net positive to society?
Here's some other things you have with cars.
I think they are.
You have seatbelt. There's a million laws related to cars to try to minimize car deaths. You have seatbelt
like
laws.
legalizing
you have speed,
DUIs,
you have
right?
speed limits, making it illegal to do DUIs. So my point is that I think that on the right, there are a lot of people that want to take the maximalist view of the Second Amendment.
Should we ban
and say,
supercars because they go faster or something? Because that would be the argument for like an assault rifle.
I don't want to ban supercars. I don't think.
So this is a guy, not Tim. This is a guy who's not here to have a conversation. He just has his talking points that he memorized. Is car deaths bad? Should we ban cars? Should we like go back to riding horses? I mean, should we ban supercars? Should we ban fast cars? Like, what are you talking about? Which Tim is going to easily dismantle this whack, lazy argument. And I've had it once upon a time with someone. This is a real argument here. People actually use this as a argument to justify the crazy amount of gun deaths we have in America. So this is real people, which is the scary part.
Because that would be the argument for like an assault rifle.
I don't want to ban supercars. I don't think. I don't know. But my point is that if we regulated guns in the manner in which we regulated cars, that'd be a good step. I think we'd probably have less than 46,000 total gun deaths next year if we did that, and I would be for that.
To get a gun, you have to do certain things to be able to purchase a firearm.
Yeah, but again, it's completely uncomparable to the types of things you have to do to get a driver's license to drive a car.
Well, actually,
cars have
illegals
tons
can
of
get driver's licenses in
cars.
California.
Cars
so
have
there's not
tons
much.
of cars have a bunch of safety checks. You know, there are tons of things we do to try to mitigate deaths via cars. Like this analogy just doesn't make any sense. Like what I'm saying is that what we want to do is figure out ways to limit the amount of gun deaths. I'm not happy with the fact. Are you happy with the number of gun deaths we have in this country?
Of course not.
Okay, so like, are you satisfied that like we have way more than any other country in the world? I don't think it's a gun problem.
Okay, now he gets into the weird Christianity part because he can't deal with the facts. He can't deal with the data. He can't deal with the simple understanding. If we have a gun killing problem, if we have a mass shooting problem, if we just have a problem with people using guns and killing other people problem, maybe we need to deal with the problem. He doesn't want to deal with that. So now he's going to go into this weird, like, only Jesus can save us. But let me just throw this fact out here for you. Switzerland has more guns per capita than Americans. Switzerland, some would argue, have a bigger gun culture than America. But yet, they have 10 times less mass shootings and shootings in general in Switzerland. I watched a video, little kids using guns. You know, of course, you know, through training, and, you know, it's like a big event. But they bragged about it. And if you look at their laws, their regulations, A lot of the obstacles an individual has to go through to obtain a gun shows you why they have way less, a crazy amount of less mass shootings and gun violence in general than America. So the answer is yes, we can do more. But when you can't argue the facts, when you can't argue common sense, you go to, oh, but Jesus is the only one that can save us.
It's not.
Okay, so like, are you satisfied? Like, we have way more than any other country in the world? I don't think it's a gun problem. We have. Do people have bad hearts in other countries?
I think everyone
they have better
has bad
hearts. Do they have better hearts than us?
Every person in the world is inherently bad by nature.
Okay, so then why do we have the most gun deaths here?
Because the wrong people are getting guns.
You don't think bad people get guns in Yemen or in France or in other places?
I never said
our
that.
country is the only place where this is happening.
Pause. You've been eliminated by the group.
He tried to pivot and say, it is not the gun. It's not even bad people. See, he said it's a heart problem. Hateful people, the wrong people get the guns. Well, guess what, my friend? Not my friend. I don't want you as my friend. Guess what, person? Let's create laws and restrictions to the best of our ability. We're not going to 100% solve it, but let's try to make sure the wrong people don't get the guns. That's all we're asking. You weirdo. Oh my gosh. Hey. Oh, sweet Lord, sweet God of mine. Ugh. All right, this guy right here is a pain. Oh my God, you can just tell by the way he walk up to the chair and sit down. The way that he is sitting, you know this dude is going to be annoying, okay? So this one is the Trump administration is an attack on American values. Get ready because it's some more religious BS coming your way.
Clock down.
Timothy.
Tim?
Pleasure.
You're Timothy. You're the full name.
I go by Timothy. Yeah.
Okay, my parents called me Timo, actually, so
Timo?
I've never been Timothy.
Hey, that's okay. It comes from the Greek, which is Timotheos.
Yeah.
It means honoring God.
Honoring God.
Yeah.
My name is Timotheos. It's in Greek. It means, honor from God. Like, bro, shut up. We don't care about where the origins of your name. But he said that. He's saying that for a reason. He's saying that you already know what BS he's going to be on. Timotheus, whatever your name is. Like, come on, get out of here.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. I want to address your claim about the rule of law and being a Western value, specifically about ICE and everything. I think what the Trump administration is doing with ICE is actually protecting his constituents. He's doing exactly what I elected him for, specifically the family of Lake and Riley.
Yeah.
Who's protecting them?
Well, that's horrible.
Let me just ask you this. Do you agree that we have an immigration problem in this country? Or we did? We don't anymore.
Yeah. Well, I guess I would say this. We did during the Biden administration. They let in too many people, and that's why the original claim was not about Border Patrol. I think we obviously need Border Patrol.
I know.
And so I think.
So, correction. Once again, I wish Tim would do a little bit more searching. And we just learned this before this live stream. Like I said on Twitch, we do an hour before these live streams, deep studies, deep dives. And what we learned is a lot of the numbers under the Biden administration were inflated because a lot of them were repeat border crossings that they would catch, send out. They would come back to the border and we would send them back. And that inflated the numbers. Now, of course, I'm not just saying, the overall isn't an issue. It deserves a conversation. But if you look deeper into the numbers, you might learn something. So I'm just saying, context matters.
And that's why the original claim was not about Border Patrol. I think we obviously need Border Patrol.
I know.
And so I think the
But it's addressing the
Biden
rule of law.
Yeah, I'm talking about addressing the rule of law here and how the rule of law is not just, part of it is protecting innocent people from being attacked, right? Totally. Yeah. But another part of it is protecting all of our rights from being infringed by the government. Let me tell you about a guy named George Redis. He was right here. He's a security guard outside a marijuana farm. Okay? He's a veteran. He's a U.S. citizen. He was driving to work. They were raiding the marijuana farm because I guess there were undocumented people working there. George is American. He's a Marine. He's trying to get to work. The ICE agents broke into his car.
Arrested by ICE.
Yeah, arrested.
Okay.
They sent him to prison. He did not get a phone call.
Okay.
He was there he missed his child's 3rd birthday. Okay. He was there for 3
Then
days.
guess what?
They put him in solitary confinement for 48 hours.
If he's an American citizen, he can sue.
Of course he can, but the administration hasn't said anything about it.
You see his answer? And once again, this is part of he's not really hearing what is being talked about because he brought up Laken Riley. You know, look at Laken Riley, you know, killed by a illegal immigrant. They love to use that. They don't care about the person, but they love to use that as political talking points. Okay, cool. Have your example. But Mr. Tim just gave you an example. And instead of saying, hey, this was an American, well, hey, we need to make sure Americans, which, like I said, everyone has the right to due process. But since they don't really care about non-Americans, he seems to not even care about that. Well, okay, he could just sue him. But the whole point is he's an American that should not have even spent a day. He should not have put his foot into a jail for getting rounded up because he was brown. No, that is not right. You should be furious about that. Just like one American citizen shouldn't be killed by a illegal immigrant, not one American citizen should not be rounded up for any reason. If you're going to be hard on one point, be hard on everything. But no, of course not. We're just trying to have a debate, right? So I can't be rational in these conversations. Okay, got you.
If he's an American citizen, he can sue.
Of course he can, but the administration hasn't said anything about it. But okay, then let's talk about the people they sent to Honduras.
But you can sue and you can get restitution for that. But if you're an illegal alien,
the 5-year-old in Honduras can't sue.
But if you're an illegal alien, you don't have the rights guaranteed to you by the Constitution.
Wow. Hey, I'm glad they fact checked them. Yeah, you can't see. It says the Constitution protects everyone in the United States, regardless of their immigration status. Mr. Timotheus, what are you talking about here? Timotheos, whatever your name is. If you don't know something, you're going to sound ignorant. Now, if you were just trying to have a conversation, then you'd be like, I'm not really too sure about this, but, I think, X, Y, and Z, boom, boom. And then someone corrects you, be like, oh, I didn't know that. So, yeah, Americans and non-Americans deserve due process regardless. But no, I guess I'm the crazy one, right? Got you.
But if you're an illegal alien, you don't have the rights guaranteed to you by the Constitution because you already broke the law coming in here. Now, secondly, what I also want to talk about is the freedom of religion and the Muslim ban.
Yeah.
The Muslim ban, you talking about in the very first Trump administration when he said the Muslims can't come in?
Yeah.
That was a safety threat.
No, it wasn't.
That was a safety threat.
Wasn't?
Yes, it was. We were at war. Everybody was at war during that time.
You can just ban terrorists. You don't have to ban Muslims. I was during that first administration.
Do you understand?
It is hilarious. He wasn't discriminating against Muslims. He was trying to protect us. Bro, even Tim laughed. That was hilarious. Why did courts shoot down his proposal 2 or 3 times? Until they had to change the language to not make it seem like they're discriminating against a religion. Make that make sense. It doesn't. But no, of course, we have idiots like this trying to sane wash bigotry, trying to sane wash racism and hatred. And he's a Christian. He's Mr. Timotheus. Remember, that means sent from God or something weird like that. I don't know.
And that they don't come over saying, hey, I'm a terrorist.
Well, yeah, sure. That's what
we have. They come over and they say...
Guys, that's why we have a CIA. This is why you keep being like... look, there are ways to go after bad people. We've done this in every administration besides Trump. There's a way to go... there's a way to go after terrorists. There's a way to go after drug dealers without hassling people and having a secret and having a internal police that's masked going after people.
One more thing I have to address.
Democracy, I hope none of you guys have chosen to go after the democracy point, which I think is interesting. interesting.
Well, we live in a republic, but the claim that you say that ICE is
I believe
like
Texas just invaded.
into
Texas
the
just
secret
invaded
police is ridiculous, is laughable, and everything.
No, it
but
isn't.
yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
They're secret. They're acting in secret, and it's Donald Trump's internal police
They're
force.
not acting in
They
secret.
are acting
They
in secret.
have
They're
to have
masked.
a warrant by a judge for
No, they
each
don't.
person they do. Yes,
No,
they do.
don't. No, they don't.
Yes,
You're
they
just
do.
wrong. Look,
have you ever interviewed somebody from ICE on?
Hey, how crazy does he sound? He's trying to tell us the countless amount of video proof. That's the great thing about the internet. There is countless of video proof of masked agents. When you're hiding your identity, when I can't see your full face, you are hiding your identity. When I say, hey, what is your name and who do you work for? And you don't answer, guess what? You are hiding important information from me. And then when people say, do you have a warrant? Let me see it signed by a judge, and they don't show you anything. That means they're hiding their intentions. They're hiding the fact that they are doing illegal stuff. So Mr. Tight white shirt guy, what are you talking about? One, it's not cool to be wearing medium shirts. If you want to fill up a shirt, fill up a large shirt. Get bigger, not wearing medium shirts. Okay, I'm sorry. That's not about politics. Second off, be honest. That's one thing Trump supporters can't do. You can't just be like, you know what? Yeah, they shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, that is breaking the trust between civilians and government, and they are trampling over people's constitutional rights just by hiding your identity and not telling people who you are or who you work for. But no, they can't do that. And like I told you once, I'm going to tell you again, there is no such thing as an educated, smart Trump supporter. I said it. Tell your mama I said it. There's no such thing. I haven't found not one. Okay? If you find one, let me know. But I'm just saying.
Your show.
You could read ProPublica.
Have you interviewed someone from ICE on your show?
Actually, I interviewed Dean Cain, who is a Superman actor that has joined ICE. He is not the smartest tool in the shed, but he's decided that he wants to join ICE now, even though he has no experience doing that. Look, man, you're wrong. They don't have warrants. Read ProPublica, read your local news here, read the Los Angeles Times. Many people have been detained by ICE. American citizens and documented. I think ProPublica recently said it was like 170. Hundreds of American citizens have been detained by ICE without a warrant. No, you're wrong. That just isn't happening.
That maybe those things do happen, but when you have 10 million people that have come in, there's going to be things that fall through the cracks. Let me ask you this. You believe that bad things happen with the police also, right?
Wow. Okay, before he gets to his next point, which is, once again, Tim does a great job breaking down like a fraction, but I don't even accept this logic. Well, when we're, doing such a mass deportation type of project, it's going to be, some American citizens that fall through the crack. Well, hey, guess what? Would you accept if it was you who got wrongly detained, wasn't given any information? You're on your way to work, so it's not like you had time to prepare for it. Got detained, sent to a prison, a jail. Not no hotel. And we seen these jails. This is not somewhere you just gonna be like, I'm just gonna kick it here. I needed a vacation anyway. No. The conditions are horrible. And I want you to be there for a few weeks to a few months, like some Americans. My alarm's going off. You would not want to deal with that. No phone calls, no lawyers. You have to wait for them to do their due process while you're sitting in jail. You, my friend, Mr. I'm a church guy with my tight white shirt. No, you would not put up with that. What if it was your mom, your wife, your sister, your kids? Oh no. But when it happens to brown people, non-white people, it is okay. They can deal with it. They should be happy that they are given a government-free vacation. just, just be happy. It's okay if a few Americans fall through the cracks. Yeah, sure. Let that happen to Mr. White guy here. He will shut the whole thing down. Okay, so get out of here with that.
That fall through the cracks. Let me ask you this. You believe that bad things happen with the police also, right? Do you agree that they should be abolished as well?
Well, no, because...
Exactly. Right? So maybe they should be reformed. Maybe there should be some other things.
Can I reply to that? Because I do think there's a key difference. Exactly is to me. Police have unions. They have accountability to their people. When the police mess up, as you mentioned earlier, people can sue the police, but also police acknowledge their mistakes.
And we can sue ICE. We can sue the federal government. That's why we have lawyers.
So that is not happening with ICE right now. ICE has wrongly detained a bunch of people. They wrongly sent a bunch of people to El Salvador, by the way. The Department of Homeland Security has not acknowledged a single mistake. Are great,
by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
So I want to talk. So the guy that was the makeup artist that got sent to El Salvador, you were cool with that?
I don't know about that guy.
Okay,
I'm just saying
what about
overall,
the guy,
El Salvador, the president is amazing.
Okay, well, we sent 200 people to El Salvador. We said that they were...
Well, if they're an American citizen, they're going to have passports, they're going to have documentation, and so they're not going to be ending up in jail.
Well, yeah, we sent 200 Venezuelans to El Salvador.
American citizens.
No, not American citizens.
Okay.
We claim that they're
not American citizens.
You think that we...
See, and that is the problem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Tell me what wrestling star that was, okay? It doesn't matter if they're American citizens or not. They didn't have due process. That is the problem. That's why people like myself are upset about this process, because there's no due process. Oh my God, I hate talking about his shirt. Damn it. It's so tight, man. I feel his veins through the TV, okay? Damn. Okay. But once again, if you fail civics, if you don't understand, if you fail or you're too intellectually lazy to look up this information, you're going to sound like this guy here. But okay, got you.
Salvador.
American citizens.
No, not American citizens.
Okay.
We claim that they're
not American citizens.
You think that we can just send people to foreign gulags even if they're not American?
So they're not American.
If they're not American citizens, we can do whatever we want?
Well,
is that what you're
they
claiming?
broke the law coming in. Who doesn't want them? If Honduras doesn't want them, if anybody else doesn't want them, where are they going to take them?
Well, no, several of them
because we told the president of Colombia to say, hey, take your guys back, and he said no.
Sorry, several of the Venezuelans that came to the country did come through legal pathways, and we deported them to an El Salvador prison because they had tattoos that looked like they were Tren de Aragua.
Like MS-13?
Tren de Aragua.
Okay.
Several of them
Do you think the cartels operate in other countries besides just El Salvador?
My question is, do you think that somebody is... No, my question is to you. Do you think someone that's a legal resident in this country that came the right way from Venezuela can, without due process, be sent to a foreign prison in El Salvador? Do you think that that's what the government should be doing?
Are you talking about an American citizen?
No, they're Venezuelans that came to the country through a legal process. They're working through legal pathways. They were refugees, or asylums.
In regards to
they came to this country, and we sent them to an El Salvador gulag.
Did they break any other
laws? No, and the administration has not acknowledged it, has not apologized to them. One of them is a guy I interviewed. His name was Andre Hernandez Romero. He was a makeup artist and a hairdresser. He came to this country, and he went through the CBP-1 app, just like you were supposed to do. He tried to do it the right way, and what we did is we picked him up, put him on a plane, and we sent him to that El Salvador hellhole.
Is he still there?
4 months later, Bukele and Maduro cut a deal to get him out of there. He was in there for 4 months. We did that to him. He came to this country, he tried to do it the right way, and we sent him to a foreign country. I'm sorry, that is against American values. This was a country where people wanted to come here.
It was
a shining city on a hill.
There's got to be a lot more.
We were welcoming people throughout the world.
I understand that, but there's got to be a lot more to the story than you're saying.
Oh my God. Hey, I mean, I don't want to say, hey, you're right, that probably shouldn't have happened. Of course it has to be more to the story. Hey, this happened a while ago. We done already got the information. And the problem is there is no due process. Due process is there to prevent sending the wrong people to where they're not supposed to go. But if you're trying to be sneaky and trample over people's constitutional rights, this is what happens. And the whole point that he tried to do with, do you want to abolish the police? I had a great point there. No, you didn't. Police have standards that they're supposed to follow, which is a whole nother conversation. When it comes to ICE, they seem to not care about that. We don't know their standards. They don't know their standards. So it's just like a free-for-all, just, round up whoever's brown and get them out the country. That is a problem. But no, of course, when you're brown, they just don't want you around. I'll end with this. Religious indoctrination is when a person, usually a child, but sometimes adults, is taught a set of religious belief in a way that discourages questioning, critical thinking, or independent interpretations. A democracy slowly turns into a theocratic dictatorship where religious authority controls political power and citizens lose their freedoms to disagree, vote freely, or believe differently. And like I said, if you listen to the entire debate, that's what you're going to get. And understanding that is a little depressing because that's the majority of Americans, unfortunately. That's simple.
Let's see how you do under pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.